So today is going to be an interesting podcast for me because this is somebody from my past. This is somebody from my current and hopefully my future. This is somebody that's been a friend of mine for, all of the 30 years that I've been in the United States. His name is Alex Olenikov. Alex is somebody that somebody that I grew up with while living in Chicago. We spent a lot of years very close friends. We spent some years apart, and then we kind of reconnected again in Los Angeles. He was the very first person out of all the people that I knew that actually came to Los Angeles and made a life for himself here. Now I realize he made the right decision at the right time, and I want to introduce him to you guys.
I
Alex,
love this
welcome.
place. Thank you.
Tell me about your love for Los Angeles. Let's start there for a second. What do you love about it?
Uh, Los Angeles is the perfect combination of all wonderful things. Obviously, we have the climate, we have the best entertainment, we have the most phenomenal pool of artists. There's just so many different movements and interesting aspects about Los Angeles. Uh, with the right intentions, with the right approach, you can find pretty much anything you can imagine. There's just so many good things to say. I feel like LA kind of has a little bit of a bad reputation at times, and I just choose to see it in a completely different way. Um, I'm sure there are certain elements of that exist that people talk about, but there's so much more incredible beauty and richness and diversity about LA that I feel like it's the best place in the States, that's for sure.
I would say even beyond that, it's the best place in the world because you have a lot of elements from other countries, literally in your neighborhood.
Yeah,
One of the biggest things that I've learned when relocating here, not only is there the diversity that you're speaking about, but a lot of people pick and choose what they want to focus on. And the things that you want to focus on are the things that seem to be amplified here very much. If you want to focus on business, there's a lot of business to do here. If you want to focus on the arts, there's a lot of arts. I mean, throughout the night, you're going to need to figure out which place you want to go to and whether you have overlapping events happening at the same time. So even though people talk about the trash, people talk about the homeless situation, the drugs, the criminal activity, all of these things, earthquakes, I used to hear a lot before I came to LA. All of these things do happen, but earthquakes, 2 seconds and they're gone. Fires, they happen, but we don't have even a trace of the fires at this point, 6 months after the major fires that happened in Malibu. Again, a lot of structural damage, but it comes with the price of sort of living here, hence the taxes,
sure.
and you get the sun tax. So let's go
That's the
back a little bit. Where are you originally from? And then we'll come back to LA in a little bit.
Originally, I'm from Nikolaev, Ukraine.
Do you
Uh,
remember when
of
you were there?
course, not only do I remember, I have a really great memory of it. Plus, I went back in 2007 with my mom and my grandma to revisit. It was that was an interesting experience as well. But yeah, I moved to the States in 1989. I was 9 years old when I came. I remember going to school there. I remember my friends there. I have a lot of really interesting memories from there. Some great, some not so great, but overall, definitely remember a lot about it.
That's very interesting because I remember very little, and other than just a best friend, Yura, who I got a chance to rekindle with when I came back in 2003 for the first time. But coming to the United States in 1989, you guys went to Chicago right away, right?
No, we went just like you. We went through the process of we lived in Italy. Uh, Sorry, no, we lived in Vienna first. I think it was for
Hmm.
like a couple months.
Correct,
And then we moved to Ladispol in Italy,
correct.
and we lived there for about 6 months. While we were in Italy, my family was trying to figure out where we're going to go. We weren't even destined to go to Chicago. We were supposed to go to Canada. We had relatives
Wow.
in Canada. Uh, we were. My parents were trying to decide going between Canada and Israel, and there was just a much longer wait. It was just a much more complicated process to go to Israel, and I think that my parents just wanted to get on with life because being in a I don't know if you remember. Do you remember this experience in Italy? It's like
Italy, I remember very much, but very spotty. For me, what was memorable was the streets, the people, the food, little elements of the market where we sold our belongings for some reason.
yes, that's exactly what I'm asking you about. So like that's what we all had to do is go to this market with whatever belongings you brought and sell them off to survive essentially. And
Right,
my parents ended up meeting or becoming friends with other people there that were headed to Chicago, and they made an agreement with them that when they arrived to Chicago, they're gonna petition or whatever was deal it with of whatever that was called.
correct. Yeah,
And then later I
be
found out
sponsored.
that
Be
yeah,
sponsored. Yeah,
sponsorship. Yes, exactly. Um, it sounds like a great story, but it actually ended up being like pay us, and then my parents had to kind of pay off this like huge debt for this sponsorship. But these people essentially ended up in Chicago, and they sponsored us to come to Chicago from Italy, and that's where we ended up. And I
So
lived in Chicago for 20 years.
So
Uh,
coming into Chicago, one of the things that I think when I came to Chicago, the very first friend that I made was Steve Padone. Steve Padone turned out to be a mutual acquaintance of ours, even though we did not know each other, right?
that's correct. He's not just a
So let's
mutual
talk about that.
acquaintance of ours.
When did you
Steve
guys meet?
Steve Padone is at the time has always been kind of like my best friend. He's the oldest friend I have in life. I went to the same kindergarten with him. Our parents were friends even when they were younger. So our history it goes way back. Like I don't have any other friends actually that I've known as long as I've known Steve. So Steve has always been a part of my life. My family brought his family over to Chicago from Nikolaev. And they lived with us for a short period when they first immigrated to the States. So Steve's been just kind of like this staple in my life for as long as I can remember. And then our we didn't live exactly in the same place. He ended up in Buffalo Grove. I ended up in Wheeling. We went to different schools later in life, but in the
Correct.
beginning, we were like constantly
But
in
what's
everything.
interesting is while I lived in Wheeling, where you and I met, and we'll talk about that in just a second, I've never
Hmm.
seen Steve because I knew him from Chicago from Divan. And then we lost contact for a while until he moved to Buffalo Grove. And then when I relocated to Buffalo Grove High School, that's
Yeah,
when we reconnected again.
I lived in Devon also
Yeah,
before.
but we didn't know each
We didn't know
other.
each other back then. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think everybody went through the same Devon process.
correct,
Uh,
correct.
Divan is an interesting concept, is a separate explanation. But yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, continuing the story.
So,
Um,
so talk to me about I guess how you guys sort of knew each other still in Chicago, but when you moved to Wheeling, did you guys still stay in contact? Because I've
of
never
course.
seen you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Steve was always a part of my life. We were always friends. There was just a short time when he kind of went to Israel. Can't
that's
remember how
right.
long it was for. I think it was like a year or something like that, or maybe longer. But it was definitely a good period of time. That was the only time that like I wasn't hanging out with him. We were
Correct,
always close friends. He was a part of my life, pretty much everything. I ended up introducing him to a lot of my friends in Wheeling. That's how like the whole clique kind of
correct,
came to be. It's interesting that you ended up becoming friends with him before that because I all of our like little group, growing up in that time period, I essentially introduced him to a lot of those people.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you and I meet first? Do you remember that story or no?
I don't remember the exact day that we met, but I
Correct.
do remember stealing cigarettes from your dad when we were 13 years old and smoking them because we lived one block from each other. Like literally, like I think less than a block. I could practically see your house from my house. And as
Correct.
kids, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have social media, we didn't have all of these things that exist today. if you wanted to find entertainment, you had to walk out of your house, and what was the first thing is like, "Oh, there's other kids here. They ride bikes. I like bikes." So I think our paths just crossed in the neighborhood. I think that's probably how we became friends. That's how, because if you remember, we all knew each other in that neighborhood.
Correct. So the little parts that I remember clearly is obviously playing football or playing soccer. I remember very
Yeah.
clearly
Mhm.
riding our bikes together. I remember very clearly going to your place all the time because you
Yeah.
had
Up
some
the
sort of
basement.
game or Nintendo or something like that. That we all Mortal Kombat is the game that I just completely was like
Eric, I
at
had a
awe.
pool table in my basement.
See, I
I
don't
was the
remember the
coolest
pool
kid on the
table.
block. I had a pool table. That's why a lot of us came to my house, is I had a pool table and I had a ping pong table in my basement.
That I don't remember, but I
Okay, they
remember
were
the Mortal Kombat.
just so we're clear, right? They were like miniature. I had a
I
miniature pool table. It wasn't a full length like normal pool table, but it was a pool table. You could play pool, and I had a ping pong table, also like on a smaller side because our basements weren't very big. It sounds like I had this lavish house. That wasn't the case,
no.
but nonetheless, my dad um, grew up playing pool. It was something important to him, and he wanted to introduce me to a lot of the things that he kind of grew up doing. And playing ping pong, for example, he took ping pong lessons with him when I was still in Ukraine. So to keep me out of trouble
Correct.
in an attempt, he got these elements, for me to just kind of spend time at home and bring my friends over there instead of me ending up who knows where.
So let's talk about some of the the close friends that we've made that sort of were parallels with us. Igor,
Okay, hold on. That's not how we call them.
how do we call him?
They have they I mean, that's not how we refer to each other, right?
Tell me.
There's a lot of people who don't even know my real name, unfortunately. But
What-
let's just keep it clean. Fine. Yes, Igor Rainlib.
No, no,
Then
you
there's
could say AKA.
we'll just let's not
Because I don't
it's
know
your
if their
call, man.
wives, I don't know if their wives or kids know them by these nicknames. So I don't want
Oh,
to.
they know more than we know,
All right,
probably.
then let's do the AKA. So Igor Rainlib is who?
You know what? Why don't I remember? His
Sigarietka.
nickname kept changing. What was his nickname?
Sigarietka, and the last one was
Yes,
Tarantino.
Tar Tarantino?
I did. There was a little bit of that. Yeah, I remember that part. No,
I don't remember ever calling him Tarantino.
Or Quentin, maybe Quentin or something.
Quint.
Quint. That's right, Quint.
Quint is what
Yeah.
we would call him.
All right.
And
So we
then
got
there's
oh, sorry.
Alexander Ulyanov, which is Alkasha, legend,
Yes.
legend.
Hmm.
Um, in our hood. Then there's Eugene Yukvid, which was yogurt.
He'll be happy about that one.
I'm sure he loves that still. Who else? Who else? Within that, like our little clique, and then there's you. There's me.
Well,
Um,
why don't you give your nickname?
I don't have a nickname. No, okay. Yes, Mucha. People,
Tell me how you feel about that, and where did that even come from?
it's all Igor Rainlib's fault, actually. Quince, he's the one who branded me with this. So we would, I don't know if you remember this, but we would go to my basement, and there was a mattress. We would like wrestle all the time. We would just like have fun and wrestle and mess around. And at the time, Igor was the strongest. He was always very athletic, and
Correct.
he would typically kind of school everybody. And I was super skinny, like just like an especially compared to what it seemed like at the time. Igor was this force, was immeasurable, and I finally got him down one time, and I was like railing him. I was just like bouncing up and down on top of him, and to agitate me and to refuse defeat, he started screaming mucha sela," and
Uh,
he saw that it was like clearly affecting me, so he kept like playing into it, and then everybody else saw that like, oh, this guy is like, so when I would end up wrestling with them, they would start screaming the same thing because I was the smallest, skinniest kid amongst us. And this Mucha Ciela situation just turned into Mucha, and then other people heard this in our neighborhood, and it just stuck. It's just such a silly, stupid story, but it's not like it doesn't have any real meaning. But that's literally
But
the history of it.
that meme definitely stuck to you because everybody, I think, that went on to become our extended group of friends later on. Nobody ever used
Absolutely.
Alex. Nobody ever used Olenikov. Everybody said Mucha, and everybody knew who he was.
Yeah, it's true, and it's kind of funny because later on in my life, like when I would be at work, like as a photographer, uh, I would hear in the distance somebody screaming "Mucha, Mucha," and I would turn around. It would be somebody's parents, people I wouldn't even know. They
Correct.
they don't even know my real name, but they know that, and this I can't tell you how many times this happened to me.
So
So
we
yeah,
definitely
for
can't
real,
go. So we could definitely can't go into every person's nickname and every person's name, but let's
right?
talk
Because
about
there's a lot.
numbers. What is from your recollection? How big was our group of friends that lived in Lakeside Village, and then how many came in from other cities? Because I remember people like Simon, like Max, like
There's a
Julia
lot.
that you used to date as well.
Oh,
All these
Yulia, yeah,
different, yeah, all these
yes.
different cliques and all these different groups from Stevenson, Zhenya, Big Zhenya, Little Zhenya. Do you remember
Oh my
like
god, there's so
collectively?
many. There's so
Yeah,
I can't there's too many to count because that group kept growing. You know, we had a really interesting dynamic, as kids as these, like, immigrants, right? And a lot of these connections were established outside of our lakeside, and it's like they, like, snowballed together. It's like this web that just kept, like, expanding, building, and, like, this section would connect, and this section would connect. Everybody knew each other. It like the Russian community, the Russian Ukrainian community, um, the community in general during that time was completely different than it is now, than it is even in LA. In LA,
correct.
the Russian community is super disjointed.
Yeah, very
It's
spread
just
out, very different
yeah,
clique. Yeah.
the crew was massive, and it kept building. It's hard to say a number. It was in the hundreds for sure, because there was even people that maybe you didn't know that I
No,
knew, and
100%.
people you knew that I didn't know, but we were all connected somehow. I mean,
And I'll take it even a step further. It was people that because one of the things that my mom mentioned in one of the past interviews is I gravitated a little bit later to like the older crowd, right? The
as did
Trainovskis
I.
and those guys. And then you, not you specifically, but I know that Steve reconnected some of these folks later on when I
Mhm.
left LA. So it was kind of interesting how these dynamics shifted and changed over time. But the community was definitely in the hundreds, as you mentioned. And I remember, basic stuff like Lakeside Village complex where we did events, DJ events. You remember those after the
Lakeside
JCC
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah, yeah. Would you like to see what that looks like?
Show me.
So,
Let's see.
there you remember one of the things that we did when we were youngins is, break dancing? You used to
I
love
remember,
break
but
dancing.
I wish to forget
You wish to forget?
a little bit, because I can't repeat any of those things anymore. I don't
Of
think.
course you can. You had your classic moves, even I still remember them, and, you can get back into it if you really take it seriously. Obviously, we're not made of the same substance anymore, but
No.
nonetheless, maybe we'll get
I
back into it.
literally tried to do yoga this past weekend, and my shoulder feels out of like it's disconnected or dislocated. So I'm
So
different.
the idea here is to do it consistently,
Correct.
not to push yourself far, but, like, you expand. Yoga is actually something that I
So let me maybe before you
participated
show anything, let me
often.
provide a little context.
Yeah.
Alex, throughout his life, has been probably the most creative person I've known. Creative with
Oh,
a
wow.
camera, creative with some of the ideas and suggestions that he's always come up with. I think the way he captured a lot of moments throughout time is unlike anybody that I've ever met. I hope he shares some of these things with us today. But
Oh
these are
my
just
god.
little bits and pieces from our early teenage years.
It's true. Nowadays, everybody has a cell phone where it's so normal that you record these things. But back then, I mean, I don't want whatever sound like old or whatever, but back then it wasn't. We didn't even have digital cameras. I walked around with a film camera and I documented my life. But I come from a lineage of photographers, so it was completely like a normal thing for me. It wasn't something
Yeah, I'll take it a
unusual.
step further that the only video that I have of my grandfather was a video that your dad recorded of my bar mitzvah on a tape that was
Wow.
converted to digital format later on. But I have no other video material of my grandfather at all, believe it
Okay.
or not.
Well, I'm a little ill prepared in regards to the photographs you're referring to because I have a pretty vast collection, and maybe on a separate in a follow up when Steve chimes in here
You could send them
eventually.
to me and I can post them throughout this video. So it's not a problem.
Okay, yeah, I can possibly even make a little quick montage. But video wise, I have a bunch of videos that I do want to show. So
Show me.
to preface this a little bit, right? It was I turned 16 years old, and me and our friend, which we referred to earlier, Igor Rainlib at the time, our birthdays weren't very far apart. I
Correct.
think he's somewhere in December. I'm in February. I guess that's a little further apart than
Pretty
somebody would
close.
imagine. But yeah, anyway, we decided
His
to.
birthday was always on New Year's. So his birthday was never celebrated like a birthday was celebrated like a New Year's event.
Yeah, I
So I
think it's
think that's
something
the
like
reason why I
this.
checked it.
This end late December. Yeah.
Correct.
So we decided to join forces and have a 16th birthday party.
The
And my
badge.
dad, which is just a miracle, actually, if you think about it nowadays, especially with the material that I'm about to show you, volunteered, rented out the clubhouse. Of course, granted, my dad probably also didn't really know what he was getting himself into. He was just
Correct.
trying to be supportive, which he often is and has been. Um, he rented the lakeside clubhouse, which is connected to a swimming pool. Like it's essentially like a lounge area, basically, that we
Correct.
used to hang out at. So he rented this clubhouse for us to have this birthday party, and this is where we got a DJ Combat cam at the time. This was a big
Who
deal.
was a very famous DJ, or he is still a DJ, that used to do JCC parties primarily.
Yes, exactly. Of course, of course. So GG Combat was hired, and he brought in fly girls. One of the fly girls was Juliet Marquis, which was
Yeah.
also actually my neighbor right down the street from me.
Well, that's her official name, but what was her, do you remember her real name?
Of course, Yulia Dudnik.
Yep.
Yes, so she was the anyway. It was a just a slew of people that came together,
Correct.
and I have a video which is very graphic. Not graphic because of what happens on camera, but so here's the thing. Alkasha predominantly shot this. My dad basically gave him the camera. My dad didn't really want to be involved. He kind of wanted to give us our space, which is
Correct.
great. And he gave Alkasha the camera, and Alkasha just would walk around and interview people, but
Let's
in
do
in
this.
in the
I gotta see it.
in a very Alkasha way. So let me just make sure this is the yes, this is the right. Okay, so this is a pretty long video. I'm gonna have to kind of forward through a bunch of it.
Don't worry about it.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna kind of do highlights here.
sure.
So and it's also remember this is 1996.
For context, I am 16 years old. You're 16 years old,
Yes,
right?
correct. Okay, so can you see
I,
this?
I am remembering this a little bit now.
So this is the clubhouse. There's DJ Combat. I can't remember the other DJ for some reason. Is the audio
I'll
coming
play.
through?
Yeah, yeah. It's a little low, I think.
All
Go ahead
right.
and play it
So
again. Play it again.
all right.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna forward here. This is there's Igor, there's you, and there's me. The guests haven't showed up yet. You're already breakdancing. All right. I'm trying to match that. You see that? You see you? You see you're on the left right there, and there's Igor
Yeah,
Rainlib.
yeah. I literally do not remember this, but I do remember that
So
move.
I'm gonna turn this down because it's very it's the music is pretty loud in the video.
Yeah, no problem. But I
I
can hear
also
your
kind of want to
audio
see
over
your
it.
reaction here. So
Um, so there are a couple of reactions that I have. Number one, This is looking well. I like this. Leave it on the scene. Here's my first.
Is yeah, people are starting to show up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eric
But
is
I don't know
flirting.
who these
There's
people
Steve
are.
right in front of you. That's Steve right there when he had hair.
You,
I'm sure she
yes,
remembers this time where there's Helen Birkin
Helen Birkin. I
smoking a
remember. Yeah,
cigarette. I'm pointing this
absolutely.
out inside the clubhouse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My dad is right there. He's like, it's cool. Let them do their thing.
So
What an
pause it for
amazing
just 1 second, really
human.
quick.
Pause it.
I want to give I
Okay.
want to give a
Yep.
little feedback. So number
Perfect
one,
pause. Look, now there's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
smoke.
I love that. I
Okay.
love that.
Go ahead.
Here are
Yeah.
the things
Go
that
ahead.
I see in my memory. The way I remember, it was like a full production, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, they had like a stand. It was a DJ stand. Like now, when I go to events, like in Vegas, like in Miami, these are professionals, DJ booths. This was just like a little frame of a bunch of lights. That's number one. But we had a smoke machine, which is probably ahead of its time, which is pretty cool. I
Hell
am very
yes.
surprised seeing how we dressed. I do not recall myself ever having this style,
Oh, this
but
was the
it's
style,
interesting.
man. Baggy was the way to go. Like
Yeah,
I was wearing Jinko jeans in this
this is
video.
the too legit to quit MC Hammer
Yeah,
style.
this is actually the post MC Hammer. But let's see. So so here's like there's Dan
Vinokurov.
Vinokurov.
Yep.
Would you say? Yeah. People are starting to show up. I'm just gonna
Was
forward through
that
a little bit here.
Lisa by chance or no?
I
Pocahontas.
don't think Lisa was at this party.
Okay, because I
Uh,
was literally just in Miami with Lisa's family, for
Malishkevich.
uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's Mr. Eric. There's the good
The
Igor
Igor.
walking all hard.
Who are these people? Hold on, hold on, hold on.
I know.
You're
I remember almost every single name here. Sharon.
drop.
I mean, okay. I'm gonna forward a little bit more. Uh, there's more and more people show up as we go along. There's Roman.
Roman. I remember.
That's
I
Helen Birkin and her
Yeah, but I knew the
flamer
guy's
at the
name. I
time.
forgot who he was. He was like the cool kid.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember his name. There's Yogurt right
I
there.
see
Eugene
yogurt. Yep.
Euclid. There's Igor Neistat. All right. Let's see. Forward. Cecilia, Julia, or okay. Look, I got a love note. That's a love note. That's me reading a love
That is a
note
very long love note.
on my birthday. That's Ola. Anyway, let's not like name everybody. Let's just kind of go through the process a little bit.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
So for
so
some reason,
man,
what I'm capturing is that you, myself, and you are the only people dancing, like
no,
break
there's
dancing.
other
Sorry.
people dancing, but for the most part, yeah, it was us. See, I'm wearing black.
Yeah, kind of. See.
Yeah,
Yep,
there you
I
go.
see it right there. All right,
There, and
leave this
you're
above.
right in front of me. And then I think you're gonna go right after this. And then Igor was also kind of. All right, I think you're gonna step in next. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what you got, Eric. Oh yeah. Oh, that's your signature move. You
All right.
see? You remember doing
Well,
this? That was your
no,
favorite move.
I don't remember this at all. But I remember I remember us doing these events, but I don't remember this particular event at all. But what's memorable for me,
You don't remember this event, really?
I'll tell you, pause it for just a second. Here's what I
Sure,
remember. I
sure.
remember this was the catalyst for me to say to myself, I like what I'm seeing. I like the attention I'm getting. I want to turn this into some sort of business. And
Oh wow.
I
This is the
started
birth
doing
of
these
Chicago
events.
View.
Prior to Chicago View, I started doing events at other clubhouses, at the other villages
For
throughout the
real?
city. Yeah. Yeah. And we turned it, me, Zhenya, and Zhenya, we turned it into a business. And this was the first sort of
Oh
inclination. This is
wow.
where the idea was born. And then I started doing events saying, hey, I think I can turn this into something profitable, I guess.
Oh wow, I never knew that. That's a very interesting story. Okay, just a little bit more, and then we'll move on.
Sure.
Just see here. Okay, so I think here's another moment.
That's crazy.
Oh, wait.
Rewind just a little bit because there's something
Like
crazy
it was a
happening.
duet of some sort you were doing with Igor? Let's see. This is like an hour plus video, so
I get it.
forwarding it.
I get
There's
it.
Eugene. There we go. There we go.
This is something him and I are doing in synchronization, I guess.
You and Igor, yes.
We did
Uh,
not practice this.
no, we did not practice this. That's Eugene Friedland. Do you remember Eugene Friedland?
So let's talk about that for a second. So Eugene Friedland was a friend of mine that I met in Vernon Hills.
Well, he went to
Through,
Stevenson. He didn't go to BG.
no, I know, but I met him through my cousin Svieta, who introduced me to little Eugene's brother Ilya. So me and little
Yes.
Eugene Tillman became friends. I started hanging out more with the Stevenson's crew.
Mhm.
I then met Zhenya, and then I brought him back to our crew, and that's how the Stevenson and Buffalo Grove and Wheeling sort of got connected, I guess, for lack of a. But it was a big crew there, big crew on our end, and then random people from like Skokie, I think, like Simon, Max, all those guys, and that's how we brought the whole groups together, and it became sort of this big clique, right?
Yes,
That's my memory.
exactly. Yes, yeah, yeah. Uh, so I
That's wild. I don't know what we're saying, to be honest. Is there any audio to it or no?
yeah, you're not hearing what you're saying. You didn't hear what your wishes were. You didn't hear what you just said.
No.
Oh my god, you were. Oh, you can't hear the audio, really?
I'm not hearing it on this end. I'm hoping that it's recording, but if not, can you
All
say
right,
what it was?
let me turn up the audio within here. Maybe
Please,
this
if
is
you don't
why.
mind.
Okay, so я сейчас курю. Женя Фридланд курит, алкаша is interrogating. Here, okay, here you are.
I literally
Did you
do
hear
not
what you
remember
said?
any of this. I heard a little bit of it, but I don't that seems like a
You
completely
said,
different
Alex,
person.
I hope you get some.
I know.
Yeah, and then Igor for Igor, you gotta start dancing, boy. That's
Yeah.
what you said. Okay, so this is a classic moment. I just want to show you. I just want to show you this.
Ladies' bathroom, of course.
So Alkasha rolls into the ladies' bathroom. There he
There's
is with the
Julia.
camera. You see him right there on the left.
There's Sharon the Drob in the background. Sharon and I actually dated. You and Yulia dated.
This would become my girlfriend after my birthday.
Correct.
This is Yulia Levi. Anyway,
Igor. And who's with
yeah,
Igor? I don't
okay.
remember this.
So yeah, okay. There's this is just continues. There's Simon. There's a lot. There's a lot more people show up. That's Rusty. This is Carl's brother.
I remember.
Carl was also in our crew. We didn't mention him for some reason. He was in Tahoe. He was
Correct.
part of our clique.
There's Slavic.
Yeah, see? Now it's slow dancing time. Everybody's getting their groove on.
Igor's dancing with Sharon Drop. Nice.
Okay, I think we got the point here.
We did.
There's more to this. This is like a whole separate video. There's Steve.
Correct.
This is a classic Steve moment. Right there it is.
There he is. The man with the plan.
Yeah. So this is we're rolling. Remember Simon? You were saying
Okay, I
Simon.
do.
He
Yeah,
had a
he had a
Camaro.
Camaro.
This is
Convertible, yeah.
Alkasha inside of Simon's Camaro.
Yep. Red Camaro. I remember it very well.
Yes, exactly. He's inside of. He's talking trash about the Camaro, about about everything. Because you know that this is. Do you remember who this is?
Kiesha. Kiesha, right?
This is Roland.
Oh, Roland. That's right. Roland. Yeah.
This is
He's the
Roland
guy
and his
that got
dog.
us into
Roland also lived in
football.
Lakeside.
American football.
What?
He got us into American football. Like really, like formed the team and got us. Well, at least me, from my recollection, I remember learning American football from him.
Yeah. I don't remember the football part, but they had all kinds of really amazing parties, and we would all participate. Roland was a special kind of creature.
Yep.
So I guess
He was
that's
the
it. I
old,
think maybe we should just move on.
yeah, we could do that. He was the older sort of guy in our
Yeah.
crew. Later on,
There's Friedland. Okay.
No. No.
Mhm.
I don't think you wanted anybody to see that.
Okay, that's okay. You can cut it out. There's
And then
Yulia
Julia.
Dudnik
Yeah,
dancing as the
dancing.
go-go girl, and then
Love it.
there's Baron.
That's how her Hollywood career maybe started. Because she used to be the good Jewish girl in the neighborhood.
That's Zhenya right there, your friend that you were just talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jane
Little
Shulman.
Zhenya.
Yeah,
Shulman,
Jane
yeah.
Shulman of Freedom. Yep.
Yeah, Shulman, exactly. Uh, I guess, yeah, that's it.
I think what's important, let's pause for a second on the video. So
Sure, 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 sure. Hold on,
let's
let me
maybe go back to, so there's obviously a lot of people.
yes.
There's different cliques that came together. You could stop sharing the video if you want.
Okay, sure, sure.
There's a lot of cliques that came together, but one of the main things as a takeaway is that I relocated from Lakeside Village to Buffalo Grove. That's when I think we primarily lost contact because we went to junior high together, Cooper,
We did.
right?
Yes.
But Buffalo Grove High School was where I went. Wheeling High School is where you guys went. What do
Yeah.
you remember from that time? Because I kept coming back to Lakeside Village often, right? Do you remember that or no?
Yeah, yeah, well, wait, did you moved to
I moved
Buffalo
to Buffalo
Grove?
Grove. Yeah,
For some reason, I don't remember. I just thought because some of us ended up getting permission to go to Buffalo Grove even while living in Wheeling somehow, but
correct. That was me. Yeah,
not all of us got that opportunity. I ended up going to Wheeling. A lot of Buffalo Grove was considered to be the better school. Wheeling was kind of more ghetto at the time. What do I remember about that time? I, on one hand, just as personally, I hated high. It was a strange time for me in discovering myself, understanding myself, finding my way. I didn't like school in general, and I ditched a lot of school, and I got in a lot of trouble all the time. And I also became kind of an adult in the process. I already had like a full time job, multiple full time jobs, and our clique was expanding. Life was evolving. We were evolving, and I just
correct.
felt like that school kind of suppressed that process a little bit. And I always thought, imagine myself, you don't need this, you need this kind of situation. Like I got opportunities. So school was like, whatever. I didn't do any extracurricular activities. Ditching was my favorite extracurricular activity,
Yep.
and we had a blast. We had fun. Nobody ever messed with us in school. No one ever messed with us because we had our little Russian clique,
Correct.
and it was a powerhouse because it
So let me
expanded.
before because you went straight to high school. I wanted to touch upon junior high. So junior high, here's what I remember: our
Mhm.
whole crew on the bus driving to school.
Yeah,
The whole bus is taken over. Then I remember going into the classes, our whole crew, like 3 or 4 of us, let's say, per class. I remember one time, this is gonna put you on a spot, but I remember this very well,
please put
where
me on the spot.
the teacher was sending you to the principal, but you wouldn't have it. You were sending the teacher to the principal. You literally, what I recall is you literally sitting in your chair and saying, "I'm gonna call the principal and have them escort you to the principal, or have the security escort you to the principal." You remember that situation?
Eric, I was incredibly rebellious, and I pushed the limit as far as I could. I did all sorts of really stupid things. I was a really rowdy kid, and I just like to stir up trouble at the time. And yeah, I did really stupid things like that in junior
So
high, and
Igor
even
and
more so
I
in
were running
high school.
track together. I remembered that very well. But I also remembered that one time, Alkasha, I think, got picked on by Scott. I forgot Cunningham, Scott Cunningham. And I stood up to something about commies or something like that. And I stood up for him. And then the guy told me, "I'll meet you after school. Let's fight."
I had the
Do
same
you?
exact scenario with Rat.
Oh,
His
wow.
name was
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Retenasawan or something like that, his
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
last name. Everybody called him Rat. I had literally exactly the same thing. Meet you after school, fight.
But did
Yeah.
anything happen or no?
I remember going to there and him not being there. It's
Interesting.
just that I
My
don't think he
situation
showed up.
Yeah, my situation was different. So he and I lived across the street from each other in Buffalo Grove, and I would physically walk home. So he knew how I walked home.
Mm.
He met me after school, like down the street, had his friends circle me. And if you remember, there was a fight that I was involved in with Eric Kravitz. Remember Eric
Yeah.
Kravitz, the
Yes, of
larger guy?
course.
And
Yes.
I broke his nose
Yes.
accidentally.
Yes.
And I was sued, and he came to school in that big brace, and I was
Jesus.
literally scared because I didn't know where that lawsuit was going. I remember Igor yourself stood up for me saying, even though you guys weren't even there, hopefully I'm not criminalizing myself, but you guys said, listen, we saw him, it was self-defense, and literally it was self-defense because the guy was like way bigger than I was.
Yeah,
I
he was a
literally
big guy.
closed my eyes and just threw a punch.
Yeah. Yeah. But we all got into it too, between each other, between other people. It was a time for all of ourselves to prove each other. Even me and Alkasha did a fist fight situation after school. Everybody gathered in a circle. It was so dramatic. Jesus Christ.
So bottom line is, he met me after school. They circled me, and I literally stood up like this, and I said, "Listen, I'm not gonna fight you. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm already in enough trouble. I'm just want to go home." And the guy just took a swing, a couple of swings. I went down. My face is all bruised up, but I never threw a punch back. And I remember coming home to my mom. My mom's looking at me. I'm all ripped up, banged up. She's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Mom, I didn't even throw a punch." And I was so
You were
proud of myself
proud.
for some reason. Yeah, because it's just one of those things that I said to myself, listen, I never want to hurt another person. I never want to cause somebody harm. Like for me, it was just pretty messed up. But going into high school, in high school, I sort of got closer to Steve, reconnected with him. I got closer to Daniel Vinokurov. Daniel Vinokurov and I spent a lot of time together. I would say technologically, he was the very first person for me to open up. He had that little black box where he
Oh
was
yeah,
able
he
to.
was a little hacker. He was a super smart kid. He did things that like were in during the time, the only other time. Like yeah, he had a literally like a I don't even remember what it's called, where you could just hold it up to a payphone and make free calls all you
Steve
want anywhere.
Steve Wozniak, so Steve Jobs' partner, was the first person to create this, and Daniel repeated it, and we called Israel to Steve's parents using what it is. It's an auto dialer. All it does is
Yeah.
makes noise as though you're putting money into the phone
Yes. Yes.
booth.
Yeah,
So
and then you
bottom
could
line is
just make free calls.
technologically, he gave me a lot of insights and it kind of got me into technology from not a user perspective where we're just playing games, right? But actually taking the thing apart, figuring out how to install, how to troubleshoot and do those kind of things. And to be honest with you, probably planted a seed into my future career and the things that I started doing.
In tech, right.
Um, but let's talk about high school from a perspective of what we did outside of school. So outside of school, did you do any like what were you doing for work? Do you remember those kind of things or no? Because I know we were all
Absolutely.
into cars, right? You were into
Yeah.
motorcycles as well.
Yeah, I was the first kid in my high school who had a motorcycle. I literally showed up to school on my motorcycle.
What kind of bike was it?
Um,
Do you remember?
what was I doing or what kind of bike was it?
What kind of bike was it? Yeah,
Yeah, it was a Kawasaki Ninja
the bike
500.
people get killed on typically.
It was a 500, not the most beastie bike, but like for a 18-year-old,
It was a
uh,
looker. Yeah,
it it was like the most amazing thing. I had a girlfriend at the time. My dad refused to accept that I had a motorcycle. I had to park it at her house in her
yeah.
garage. It was a whole thing. What did I do for work? I did a bunch of different things, man. Do you remember working at US Research?
I remember the company name, but I don't remember what we did. I worked there as well.
Telemarketing. We all worked there. We all ganged up in there. We all did telemarketing. But
I
that's
don't.
not what I did at the time. But
It's
I
definitely
just
not.
remembered.
It's definitely not on my LinkedIn account. Even though
Well, it
Best Buy
probably
is.
doesn't exist anymore. But it's for sure. We worked at US Research together, where we did telemarketing. We called and asked people to do surveys.
Wow, I don't remember
I
that.
at the time,
What else?
I started I already and when I was 17, I already had my own photography gig going. So, I worked my uncle had a photo lab, and I helped manage and run the photo lab, which meant client stuff, printing photos, like everything, like the whole process. And because I had learned how to do the whole process, uh, I got a gig at Metropole.
And Metropole used to be like this famous Russian restaurant.
A huge fucking gang excuse me, sorry, pardon
It's
me.
okay.
Huge gangster restaurant, very, very active, very interesting place to be, and
So the owners, my friend's
so
uncle was the owner, Florin, and the stories that I heard was that the uncle used to
dollar?
shoot.
Yeah,
Dollar.
I've witnessed things that I have an NDA on. Let's
Oh,
just put
yeah.
it that way. I don't wanna incriminate anybody, but there was a lot of things like that happen, yeah. So, just a quick just a quick story about how, that even happened, right? So, in all Russian restaurant was like a staple during, that time for everybody. That was like the ultimate gathering place. It was
And all the famous
entertainment,
artists performed
food.
there. So
Yes, it was.
Valery Leontiev, Alla Pugacheva, all those people came to these restaurants to
Yeah,
perform.
yeah, yeah. It was a really big deal. It was like a really amazing experience. That was like the
Yegorov.
epitome. Yeah, the epitome of entertainment for us immigrants at that time. And they typically had a photographer there that would walk around, like an older guy who would walk around and he would shoot a photo of, like, a couple dancing. He would ask you, "Hey, can I take a photo?" Then he would get your address and you'd have to pay him up front. And then possibly you would get a photo in the mail, like a little 5 by 7 photo.
Yep.
And this was a totally normal thing. And it was like that was in every Russian restaurant. But for me, I saw an opportunity here because I worked inside of a photo lab. I had access to equipment, printing, everything. And I decided to come up with my own model completely. And instead of walking up to people, asking their permission to take photographs and then taking their information, having them pay up front, I would take candid photographs from a distance in the heat of their moment, in the moment of passion. I would click, 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 click. Then I would roll out. I would go to the photo lab. I would print instead of 5 by 7. I would put these massive 8 by 10 photos. I would put them into a folder with the restaurant name on there, and then I would come back and instead of charging $20, I would charge 10. And the dollar, the owner of the restaurant, saw this and was like, "This is I you're now a permanent fixture in my restaurant. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you have no days off. This is where you live." And every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for brunch, I would have to show up and I would go through this and I would come in there and just stacks of photos and just like I made really good money as a 17-year-old back then
Correct.
doing this. So I did all kinds of stuff, but it was all kind of related or connected to
But
photography,
you
more or
you
less.
grew into video because I remember you did a lot of video weddings
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like, you grew
yes.
into a major business with you and
Yeah,
your uncle, I
I
think.
kind of built a name for myself because all these people would go to these events, they would get these great pictures, and then they would be like, "Hey, I wanna hire you for my this event or for this event." So, like, separate from my uncle, which was already doing events, I started doing my own, and then I turned into doing video. It's a whole process. So, yeah,
So
to
let's
answer your
fast
question,
forward just
that's what I did in high school,
correct.
and I
Let's fast forward a little bit.
yeah.
Have your career pivoted to anything else outside of that business, and photography and video
Yeah,
in Chicago?
I was a very curious kid and I tried to do a lot of different things. I worked at Sharper Image. I was a manager at Sharper Image.
Correct.
I worked at body shops. I did all kinds of gigs. Somehow, I don't even know. Like thinking back, it's hard to even know, but somehow I found time. I made time to have these jobs. So
Correct.
I kind of floated around. I worked at a dealership as a sales guy. I worked at Bang& and Olufsen. Do you know what
Wow.
Bang& Olufsen is?
I have a
I
speaker
worked at
being
Bang& Olufsen when I
that's
was
crazy.
19 years old
Crazy.
as a sales associate.
Yeah, most people thought of a high-end, like Bose was the high end. This is like
Yeah,
the ultimate high end.
the ultimate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, a whole other caliber. So I did all kinds of stuff. Like whatever I was interested in, I was just exploring life, exploring opportunities, learning things, and I was just trying different things. I stepped out of photography for a while. When you run a family business, it can be contentious.
correct.
So I ran into some difficulties in the process, and I would kind of hop back in, hop out, and then just like so. Yeah, in the process, I did all kinds of different things.
Let's fast forward to how we reconnected. So I had decided to, and I talked about this previously, start Chicago Review with two partners, Alex and Mike Eichloff, Alex Ulyanov and Mike Eichloff. And when we partnered up, it was just a business that was competing with the local sort of DJs. that were already doing events of their own. We decided
Mhm.
to one up them, create flyers, go to these events and spread out these flyers to get attention, built a
Yeah.
website, decided to drive traffic there. From your perspective, what do you remember about that time, or at least how you found out about Chicago View?
Well, let me show you something.
Please.
I created an ad for you for one of these parties.
Correct.
Uh, when this first started, and you were doing a big event at Crowbar. Crowbar was a big shtick club at the time, and
Eastern European,
I made an
exclusive
ad
Eastern
for
European
you
event. Yep.
specifically for this event. Okay, so let me just share this again.
I've never seen this, I don't think.
No, you've never seen this for sure.
I remember asking you to build a project and to
This
do
is
like a pitch for it in a way, but I've never seen it.
this is a different thing.
Oh, this is different. Show me.
This is a different thing. So look, you already got sponsors. We opened with
Yeah.
sponsors for this event and then the event itself.
Oh, wow. So this is marketing 2002. Oh, wow.
I'm gonna fast forward. There's just a bunch of kind of, hype dancing. Like this
Yeah,
is
but this is
a
real
party.
footage.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
real
real footage.
footage. Correct. This is a real footage from a Chicago View party. See?
Wow.
Anyway, without playing the entire ad,
Alex, I'll tell you, first of all, this brings back a lot of memories. But one of the biggest feelings that I got is a a lot of people did not know I was in the liquor distribution business with Fedima. And a lot of people didn't know that I never drank in my life. Like it wasn't a thing that I ever enjoyed. But I loved the idea of building and doing something creative. And I thought, just a new concept because we used to go to high schools, right, to big concerts. So doing something inside of an American club with Russian liquor was very like different and unique and something that wasn't heard of. And then charging $60 on top of it for a front door entrance when tickets to Kirkorov concert I went to at $20 a pop was like insane. I remember at the door standing there shaking because the guy, the older guys would come up to me and be like, Eric, this is highway robbery. We know each other. You're like the
yeah,
cousin of that cousin.
yeah. Let me in here.
What let me in. Like, no, no, no. I can't control the funds. The funds, that's the house. That's not me. And I would get out of the door, put a girl in the front, and she would handle the funds just so I don't have to get beat up by the end of the night. But ultimately, for me, it was just something that was interesting to create and see something come up out of nothing. But then to have you sort of digitize that and create a marketing campaign on it, it looks so professional for the time.
Yeah, for the time, right? Think about this. This is like what year is this?
2002.
Yeah, for 2002 to make an ad like this, like nowadays you would think like, oh, this is what I could
Yeah.
do that, right? But this is
Yeah.
like nobody did this.
Nobody
Nobody
did the
did this.
3D effects of the letters,
Yeah,
the
and look at how
position.
like for 2002, that's pretty polished material.
Yeah, and to have Tinkoff, I even forgot that I imported Tinkoff, believe it or not. I
Yeah.
remember Nemirov, I remember Jewel of Russia, I remember Baltica very well, but Tinkoff, I didn't know, just it wasn't in my memory for some reason. So talk to me about your experience of working with me and working with Chicago View as a whole and that event. Like, is that something that was a positive experience or a negative experience for you at least? Honestly.
So overall, let me just explain this to you. I loved all of these events that you guys were doing were amazing. And I remember feeling at the time like that I wish I could be more involved. Like what like you had created a partnership with other people, like whatever Gosha,
That
hearing
was later. That was later.
okay,
He bought out my share. Yeah. Yeah.
got it. So like I always like wonder like man, these are my people. This is my homeboy like way back. like, how do I get involved? And my attempt in getting involved was through this, like making these ads. And I loved what you were doing. I had a lot of admiration and respect for you because you weren't just partying. Like a lot of these kids were just looking for a good time, but you figured out a way to capitalize on that and not just have a good time, but bring people together in these extraordinary like places like Crowbar. These are like the ultimate place to have a party. This isn't a lakeside clubhouse
Yeah,
situation, you know?
Excalibur was probably the
Yeah.
biggest one we did, yeah.
So like you had created these events, and I remember like being in awe, to be honest with you. And then I think I don't remember who got the idea, uh, but this is you had Chicago View on its own is a separate conversation. This is a website. This is when Facebook didn't even exist, as far
No,
as I
it was
remember.
a couple of years before Facebook,
Yeah,
yeah.
so this is like MySpace times,
Correct.
and it was MySpace, but for my people, like our own. It was an excellent platform. I spent a lot of time on Chicago View. It was essentially the Russian community, but digitized and online,
Correct.
which didn't it literally like that didn't exist. Like you couldn't do that anywhere.
Correct.
You could go MySpace, but you're a MySpace with everybody else. But this felt unique, you know, and Chicago View was a very popular platform at the time. So I feel like you were really ahead of your time in that regard because you created this digital space as well as this experience for parties live. So you provided entertainment and a way to connect and explore all of this. It was a really great idea, and I again have so much respect for you for doing that. And I kept trying to think about like how do I connect, how do I like do something, and I honestly don't remember who had the idea, but I said, "Hey, we should do a a dating show because everybody was dating
I think it was your
everybody."
idea, I'll be honest with you. I might have,
I don't
picked one
remember
up and
whose
ran
idea.
with it.
Maybe it was my idea,
Yeah,
and it was during one of these events that I said, "You know what? In order to create hype to do this dating show, we need to create like a trailer for it." So at one of
correct.
your parties, I ended up coming with my friend Basha Berman,
It was
and
in Excalibur, and it was different levels because you guys were using different backdrops, and you set up, I remember, like a booth type of
a green
thing,
screen.
something,
I
yeah.
set up a green screen. Yeah, and we shot a little trailer for this dating show that we were gonna do, and I could play that for you. And
Hold on, you
would
have
you?
that as
I
well?
I have the trailer for,
Let's
and
see this.
the so the premise here is because this is a project that was you know connected to Chicago View, it had to have the branding of Chicago View in
Of
it.
course, of course.
And because this is dating is love, so we
Yeah,
connected those two elements and called it Love You.
let's see.
Sharing the screen. Just a second.
I'm intrigued to see who was, who are the people that you
Not
recorded.
everybody agreed to
Yeah, yeah,
participate.
yeah.
Not everybody made it to the final, but here, watch.
Oh, I love the beginning of this.
Chicago View, baby.
I love it.
Уважаемые телезрители. Я хочу все сразу
Anna.
прямо сейчас. I am a marine psychologist. I study fish. I really study fish good. I'm really good with fish. I can eat fish. I can study fish. I can do lots of things to fish. My soft spot would probably be jump up and dip, baby. А у меня нет талантов. Я совершенно бесталантливая. I just go nuts when somebody touches my ass. No, don't
See,
do that. I would get my boobs done, and then she gotta have an ass. My dick to take me on a long, warm penis. Big one. I don't have one. I'm charming. I'm handsome. I'm smart, sexy, good looking, wild,
Christina,
hot, cute, gorgeous, sweet,
yogurt.
smart. I look for a lot of good sex. I have a hell of a night after that. And yeah, sexy, sexy. I want happiness out of life. I know how to talk to girls.
Yeah, but
Bluish brown
Igor,
eyes. I think I'm just so darn sexy. I'm flexible. Good at drinking and opposite sex. That's what I'm moving for.
I love it. Did you actually break a TV to do this?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Love you. I love the branding coming in February. All right. So do me a favor. Let's stop this video for a second because I want to find out from you. I love the video, by the way. But talk to me. This project never went anywhere, right?
No, the reason that it didn't go anywhere is, as far as I remember, this required funds. Like it's not free to do this.
I'm
And
starting to remember actually.
yeah.
I was raising money and I was raising money to go nationwide. And the first state that I went to test is San Francisco. That's why we launched San Fran View.
Hmm.
I had 2 partners in San Francisco that I partnered up with. Jacob was one of them. I forgot the other guy's name. And we did an event in San Francisco that was blown up. It was like a modeling event, like people walking. And I thought to myself, that's it. If I do it in San Francisco, I can do this in every single state. And I'm going to get into concerts and I'm going to have every concerts nationwide. But Igor Golubchik did Vermont is what I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
planning.
Igor
But I was,
Golubchik is DJ Combat.
yeah. But Igor Golubchik continued that business. I never got in
Yes.
it. And the reason I never got in it is because I was trying to raise the funds. I couldn't do it. I was hoping that Alex Radunsky, actually, the Philip Morris guy, that first episode that I did, would invest into it. He didn't. And because he didn't invest into it, I thought to myself, I don't see this as a business that I can scale. I got to offload it.
Hmm.
And that's when Gosha came in and bought out my share and decided to kind of run the business moving forward. Because we had a radio station, we had a newspaper. And I
Yeah.
think we never continued with this idea because nobody ever reached out to you, right? To continue the show.
Yeah, it just never went anywhere because we made this trailer. We made a plan on like what these episodes are gonna look like. We made a plan on like where these dates are gonna go. Who's like we started putting it together on
Correct.
paper, but all of these things require resources, obviously. And
Correct.
the agreement was that you guys would provide the resources and we would execute. And
What was your feelings about the situation? Because I want to make sure that I am as transparent and real on this YouTube channel. What was your feelings towards me, towards my partners, towards the whole situation? Because you invested a lot of your time into this,
Of
right?
course. Well, you got to understand, Eric, I didn't know like a lot of the things that you said about all these kind of side business and the politics of all of it. I
Correct.
wasn't involved. I didn't know. So like I put my best foot forward, so to speak. And I had hopes. I thought, hey, you know what? This is going to be awesome. Like this is going to be. I was bummed.
You
You
know,
know,
this was going to be the first. This is a Netflix before Netflix. That was the
this
idea.
this is before a
But
lot
this
of
was
this is
going to
before
be,
streaming. Period.
by Alex, this is the first live stream show that I was planning to put online. This is an online show.
Right. It was an online show. Exactly. Yes. Yes. It was going to be distributed online. Exactly. Yes. And I had a lot of experience with that because I made a lot of videos, which I also had a platform for clients that they could share. Like they had an
Correct.
event or a commercial, whatever they wanted to share. This is before YouTube existed. This is before
Correct.
video
Correct.
sharing
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah.
But I
This
had
is an
already.
innovative idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had already done this just privately, kind of with a password, and then we were gonna take it, and to the next level, and have
Correct.
this show that was gonna play on Chicago View, the webs that was gonna be like, it was a great idea at the time, and I remember being really stoked about it, and of course I was really bummed that it didn't go anywhere, and around that time, there was a lot of kind of like people would talk a lot.
Correct.
Well, let's do this, let's do that. Things were new opportunities were coming up everywhere. There's
That's
like
still the case, believe it or not. I mean, we're in Hollywood.
right. But this was, first of all, this is earlier on in our life, and this is in a totally different technological era. This is before
Correct.
the web bubble. This is like predates all of this.
Correct.
So I just thought like, oh man, it's just people were just kind of hyping me up and like it didn't go anywhere. But believe it or not, this idea Basha, Paul Berman, who was involved, Basha Berman, who
I
was
remember you
involved
guys had a
in
startup,
creating this.
something red, like Circle or
Pocky,
something.
yeah, we started a short film distribution business, which we actually did get funding for, and it was off to a pretty successful start. And unfortunately, our investors, we were private investors. This was right during the housing crash in 2008, and we didn't get our last seed of funding, and as a result, we essentially kind of ran out of steam without
Misha
resources.
Katamanian, I think, was one of your early
He was
investors.
not. He was
He
not.
was that?
No,
Oh, that's
no.
interesting because he talked to me about this idea early on.
Misha Katamani did not invest into the business, but we had very significant investors, like people who were in like Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch didn't invest into it. Morgan Stanley didn't invest into it, but some of their higher ups
Nice.
personally, yeah, invested in and really believed in this project. We pitched it. We collected at the time for
Give us like a 30-second pitch. What was the idea?
so at the time, this is again before YouTube. We were trying to be a short form distribution for short form entertainment, distribution center for short form entertainment. We raised about $300,000 to start that process, and we went to film festivals and curated, gathered content, and also created a website where you could share your own. And we established contracts with like AMC theaters that would like play some of these shorts before the big movie would play. Like now you see ads, so now it's a normal thing.
So let me give you a little perspective. So you were at awe of Chicago View, while I was at awe of everything you guys were doing, saying to myself, I'm missing the boat and I missed the idea. And when Misha came to me with this concept, I told him I'm not certain, so maybe you shouldn't invest. But right now, if the situation happened today, that would have been probably one of the biggest investments that he would have made.
You know, everybody told us that we're too early for this.
Correct.
We're too early for this. And we hired like marketing firms to do research for us, and I kid you not, we just spent many tens of thousands of dollars on that process. And they
Correct.
would come back to us and say, "Nobody is interested in short film is dead."
Correct.
That's what they would say to us. Looking at it now, you could see how absurd that is because short form entertainment literally rules all.
So I
Um,
want to tell you something that you may not know. There's another startup that I had an opportunity to actually do some work with, a company called Quibi. You ever heard
yeah,
of
I know
Quibi or no?
Quibi. Of course, yeah,
All right.
they
So
failed
you were
quickly.
you were Quibi before Quibi.
Yes, correct. Yes, we were Quibi before Quibi.
And do you want to know something very funny?
What?
Quibi was ahead of its time as well. It raised
Yes,
a lot of money. A
yes,
lot of
yeah.
money. Jeffrey Katzenberg was the guy that $100 million is what they put into this. And they originally, sorry, they raised $1.75 billion originally, and then
Uh-huh.
they sold it for 100 million. That's what the situation was. I was involved in this company. This company had like creme de la creme financing,
Yes,
creme de la creme um,
connections. Yeah,
connections. This was the
yes.
best of the best of the best of the best of the best, and these guys failed big time.
But it was big. Do you know? I mean, obviously, you probably know much more about it than me about why they failed.
Correct. Vertical.
Okay, this is a little bit of what we were doing is a little bit different. We weren't making Hollywood movies,
Correct.
short form. It was supposed to be kind of the underdog. We were the YouTube kind of generation, but when YouTube before it's this massive conglomerate now, when it
Correct.
was taking off, and it had a lot of potential. Anyway, I didn't finish what I was saying. So the idea is when we lost this, we get our last seed of financing, and we had to stop and essentially end Pocky. Pocky was the name of this short film distribution company. Basha and Alina, who at the time when we were making this Love View trailer, this idea, we were gonna do this project together, and they took that idea and they scripted it out. They took it to the next level, and they actually sold it to a network, and they filmed a pilot, which then
Wow.
turned into a real show called Russian Dolls.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's a long loop circle.
yeah, it actually Love You, we literally took the concept of Love You essentially,
Correct.
and they built on it and
I did not
took
know
it
that.
to the next
Yeah,
level, and it ended up working out.
correct.
I don't
But
know, I mean,
you weren't involved, right?
I wasn't involved because they moved to New York, I moved to
That's right.
LA,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
our, idea was like, "Hey, we gotta figure out a way to get Pocky to reemerge, like, reignite it somehow," and he was gonna kind of figure out stuff in New York while I was gonna try to make things happen in LA. And while they were in New York, they pitched this idea and they ended up getting it, and him and Alina essentially were a part of that project while I was
Correct.
in the opposite side of the country. So I wasn't involved in Russian Dolls or this project,
We
unfortunately.
actually ran into each other surprisingly in Israel, out of all places, in 2007 on a birthright trip where they got married.
Yes, yeah, yeah, they did.
I was at their wedding.
They're
Believe
no
it or not.
longer married.
I know that, but it was a beautiful, Jewish ceremony wedding. First one
Yeah,
I've ever attended in my life.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
in
you
Israel.
had never attended a Jewish ceremony before then?
I wasn't big on Russian restaurants or weddings or doing the whole Russian Chicago lifestyle. I was just
I
trying
see.
to stay away as much as I possibly could out
Yeah.
of those things. Out of
I'm
those
on the
things.
opposite, of that realm because I did events as a
Correct.
business, so I attended countless, hundreds of these ceremonies.
Yeah, I went to maybe 3 or 4 with Igor Meltzer and Sveta Meltzer, and at some point I said, "I'm tired every weekend of going to somebody's birthday, to the same restaurant, seeing the same people, listening to the same music, doing the same exact thing over and over. It's not my thing. I'm out." And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I relocated to Los Angeles, is that I sort of felt like I was in a very small circle, and there was a lot more to this world that I wanted to see or try or kind of, explore more or
Mhm.
less. What about your journey? How did you choose to go to LA originally?
So I was kind of in a soul searching situation. Yeah, I had also kind of maximized my opportunities. That's what it felt like in Chicago. I worked for
Correct.
a record label, did some of their marketing, some of their video, and I kept running into like all these limitations, and I just the other thing is that I had a lot of kind of family issues and just a lot of drama in my personal life in Chicago,
Correct.
and it just kept kind of building and building, and I kind of felt suffocated, and I realized that, you know what, I just need to start over, and the failure of Pocky, the short film, everything essentially that I had sort of tried to do didn't quite work as I would had hoped. And when Pasha moved to New York, I was like, yeah, what's the point? There's nothing left here for me, and I just wanted to start over. And funny enough, I was actually gonna go to New York. I had already lined up a job that
Mhm.
was production related, and was looking at apartments. But Yulia Dudnik
I remember.
at the time was living in LA,
Correct.
and we were kind of reconnected, and she's like, hey, listen, before you start your new life in New York, just come for a little vacation in LA, just
Check it
just
out,
come just
yeah.
come and just hang out, just take a
Now, Jeffrey,
breath.
let's give it a little context. So, did you already shoot a movie, a feature film yet, or not
Yes,
yet?
she had already been making, she'd made a bunch of big movies with, big A-listers or whatever, uh,
Correct.
and still working her career and trying different things. So she invited me just to come and hang out. And I bought a one-way ticket to LA because I wasn't sure how long I was going to be there. I sold everything I had, my car, everything. I had an
This is first
iguana. What?
this is your first visit to LA?
For I had only went to California before for training for Bang&
Wow.
Olufsen,
Wow.
which was not in LA. It was in Orange County, and it was
Right.
for just like a very brief period. I'd never really. I had gone with my girlfriend to San Francisco. We had kind of hung out there, but I'd never been to LA.
Wow.
So I got a one-way ticket to come and stay with my friend Yula and Juliet Marquis. And the day that I arrived in LA, when I was in downtown walking with my stuff, just knew in my bones, like right there, that like wasn't expecting this, but when I arrived, I was like, "This is it.
Correct.
This is it. This is my next move." And I just stayed. I stayed with her for a while. Her and her boyfriend got a place of my own in Venice. Rented a room out in a house in Venice Beach and just kind of went from there.
I know
Uh,
exactly what you're talking about. It took me a little bit longer. I went back and forth. I spent Monday through Friday here, and then Saturday, Sundays, I would fly back to Chicago for 9 months before I sold everything and relocated my car and brought my BMW here. Crashed it 2 weeks later. Never, which is insane. I was like, am I really in the right place? But I literally felt looking at these hills. I don't know what it was about the surrounding around me. It just felt like it was so new, so fresh,
mhm.
so inviting to kind of think outside the box and just do something completely different than you've ever done before. And it was like a reset in a way. What has been your life in LA like? Talk to me about your experience here.
It's been a whirlwind, man. It's
How
been
many years now?
15.
Okay. So I'm
I
14. So
came
only a year
Yeah, I
difference
came
between
in
you and I.
March of 2010.
Okay.
So it's been 15 years about, and it's been challenging. I didn't get into it didn't work out exactly as I had imagined. For me, when I had moved to LA in the beginning, it was quintessential to have freedom. I didn't want to have like a 9 to 5. I didn't want to have like some sort of consistency. So I started like, I found a way to make some side money. I was like flipping cars, uh, helping other people like with in that business a little bit, which gave me a lot of freedom. And I took on projects like that are in production. I could be selective, whereas like I didn't have to do like a reality show, or like where I like sign up and I just like in on a
In the schedule.
conveyor belt type of
Yeah.
feeling. It's not even the schedule part. It was just when you I would end up having to do like low level kind of production work for other people, and it I may as well not. That's kind of my perspective at the time. Was like, you know what? I want to explore my artistic self.
Correct.
I want to try taking some risks. And when you are in production and you have a full-time job in production, and you sort of use all of your creative resources, and you channel it into that, once you get out of work, you no longer have the desire to create. You just want to disconnect, take a break, so that you can do it the next day. So you get burned out on a creative level. So I did try a couple of times. I had some projects that I took on that were pretty serious, and but for the most part, I tried to just enjoy my life. I just wanted to have some freedom. So I would do like some side gigs that would essentially make me enough money to survive. I lived pretty comfortably, and then I could do photography stuff and video like shorts, and collaborate in documentary stuff. And as a result, I tried to do all sorts of things, even with Juliet and I started a project, even like a production company, for a short time.
Oh,
And we
wow.
did we did all these docs with all these amazing people, pretty famous people, even a very interesting, controversial, um folks. And we did interviews with them, and our idea was to like create something. So I tried many different things and started different projects. And I don't know, I feel like that process is still going, it's still happening. Like
I
I've
love that.
still haven't really, I would, established myself. And it's been fun, man. Life in LA, I don't regret it. I think moving to LA is probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
I agree.
uh, and it opened up a whole side of me, which I don't think would have been possible for me to do in Chicago. And I'm still, I'm still looking for the next, not fix, but for the next step forward. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you were taking the right steps. I mean, one of the things, last week you were in Las Vegas, right? Or the week before, uh,
Yeah,
you were doing some shooting for Wolfgang Puck. I believe you mentioned, right?
yeah. One of the right. So for work wise, one of my very consistent repeating clients is Wolfgang Puck, which I do a lot of commercial work for, social media, it's like ad campaigns, something that I've been doing the last almost three, maybe a little 3 years basically. It's just one example, and yeah, I do a lot of Wolfgang Puck's media and advertisements, and he's got restaurants all over the world.
Correct.
And I went to he's got a couple of spots in Vegas. He's got New York, so like I'll travel essentially to those places for that purpose. So that yeah, I was in Vegas recently. I'm going to be going to New York soon again for that same reason. So that's my kind of bread and butter, where I generate income from, is doing like these ads and working with clients like Wolfgang. He's not the only one I have, but definitely the most sort of notable or
I get it.
famous
So tell me,
brand.
like, perfect world scenario. Let's say tomorrow something would change drastically. What would be your perfect gig? What would be the
It
love
wouldn't be
passion
one. It
project?
wouldn't be one gig. It would be two. It would be twofold. Number on I'm a huge passion with photography, specifically shooting people, and it's a project actually that I started that I've built, and I've been putting a book together. And my
Well, actually, let's take a step back. So I know you put together a gallery project while I was in Miami. I really, really wanted to attend. I
yes,
regretted that
yes.
I didn't attend, but tell me
The
about that project a little bit.
So the project is called Beyond the Skin, and it's all about introspection, about self love, about the beauty in who you are.
Correct.
Not like because you're pretty, but because we all, when put in the right light, when put in the right place, essentially are very beautiful in our own way. And
Alex,
my
do you have
focus
any of
was,
those pictures that you can show or no?
oh,
Or is it difficult for you?
I have a lot. No, I have a lot. I have a lot, from that. You want me to show now?
If you don't
Okay,
mind?
sure, no
While you're
problem.
talking, because one of the things that captivated me, and I'm very visual. So for me, a lot of times you may tell me a story, but until I see it, I don't feel it. And I felt it. I felt it throughout the screen, even a smaller screen on your Instagram account, how beautiful of a capture of individual form, body form that you did of these people. And just random people, just
Yeah,
very
random
random.
people. There are no models. Just random people. So, I think the easiest way to do it is just for me to kind of pull up my Instagram, which has a good
Yeah, whatever
variety
works.
of the.
Because I think it's difficult for people to visualize what we're talking about until you see it. Some people may feel it right away, others may not. One of the things that I was hoping to do, and again, we're not making a commercial product, you and I. This is not like an ad opportunity, but I'm literally speaking from my heart when I say Alex is probably one of the most creative people I know, starting with the ads that he did for video. But look at this photography and look at the style. Can you scroll through some of these? Look at the
Of course.
emotion that he's able to capture. I love it. It's freaky, but it's freaky good. Highlight the one where the girl is hanging. Do you mind?
So this is actually one of my favorite photos. This girl hanging here.
How did
This
you
is a,
do this? First of
this
all,
is a friend of mine. How did I do? She's not really
I hope not.
suspended. She's no, she's not. She's standing. It's just that the noose is pulled up.
Correct.
So I shot this photo for a very specific reason. I shot this on the anniversary of my grandfather's suicide. My grandfather committed suicide in a very similar manner as you see in this photo here.
Wow, I never knew that.
And it was a really dark, really terrible experience for my entire family. And it's something that's still haunts them and me to this day. And this was my attempt of taking something really dark, really difficult, and turning it into something beautiful.
You did an incredible job, Alex. You captured something that, first glance, is obviously the body of a beautiful, beautiful woman. But the minute you see that news, you have like the shock that goes through your body, but you still come back and focus on her, torso, on her shoulders, and
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
there's a lot of layers to a lot of these photos. There's a lot of behind these choices, but overall, it's to show the diversity, the beauty in which that people are. Um,
Talk to
there's
me
a
about talk to me about the suspension of the shibari on the top.
Shibari.
Yeah,
So Shibari is a really fascinating aspect for me that I've always been curious in, and I met this girl who does Shibari, and I thought that she would make a great addition to this project. And we she had brought us an assistant. Like, there's a whole thing here, and this is. I even did a whole interview with her and her
I did not see
contortionist.
that interview, but this picture
It
captured
isn't.
my.
It's not live. It's not available. So here, the
Gotcha.
person that's in Shibari, this is her. This is the same person
But
here.
this picture captured my imagination so much. I literally sought out and met a shibari expert that took me through the whole class. I was completely clothed, but she
Yeah,
like tied it around.
it's
It
a
was
very
like
fascinating element. Shibari is a very fascinating topic.
orgasmic experience. Honestly, full body orgasmic experience for a guy that shouldn't be
Yeah,
feeling those feelings.
yeah. Restraint is a very interesting element. So yeah, so this project is there's a lot. There's a lot of nudity in the project, because I feel like a nudity is our kind of most authentic self. It's so common, so easy for us to wear clothes,
Correct.
almost like a mask, so for acceptance, for style. We are our most essence is in our skin, and my approach isn't sexual. There's no eroticism at all,
Correct.
as you could see in the
No,
nudity.
I
It's
did not
just,
see any. It's very
yeah,
pure.
it's just about, like, this is who I am. This is who I am, and this here's a short video from the exhibition.
Do me a favor,
So
turn on that short video because I think it's important for people to see how you displayed these artworks. That's what the suspension of the artwork is something I've never
yeah,
seen before.
yeah, these are massive pieces.
I wish you would
And
do
there's
this
just
again. I really wish you would do the gallery
I
again.
will do it again. So the story behind this exhibition is, I had a person. My ultimate dream was to have a book published by Taschen. Taschen is probably one of the most respected, most incredible
I can
uh,
show you the book. I have it.
publishers.
I have their books all over my home.
I grew up with my face buried in Taschen books, different
Yeah,
artists. And one of the biggest artists that inspired this project, Beyond the Skin, his name is Jan Sadek. Jan Sadek is a photography god for me. So I mentioned that I had a dream to be published by Taschen to one of the people that posed for me. And that person, in secret, then went, and Taschen had just relocated and opened their central flagship office in West Hollywood. And this guy lived 2 blocks from there. So he went in there. And what I do is, when people pose for me, I'll share with them the material that I shoot of them.
correct.
And he went and he showed them the material that I shot of him. And they were interested. And they were like,
Wow.
you know what? Here's my business card to the person who would be in charge of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
project. Give it to Alex. And when he's ready to pitch us officially, please, go ahead and have him connect with us.
Have you done
So
anything with the contact?
yeah, I'm
Honestly.
going to tell you the story right now. Let me just end the screen sharing. First of all, he did this behind my back. I was kind of pissed at first, but I was like, oh my God, that's insane. That's amazing. Thank you. Yes, of course. Yeah. So I'm like, I went into like hyper overdrive into putting together the material for Taschen, essentially, to give them an official pitch. Now that they're interested, and now that I have this
I love
contact,
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
was invigorated. I mean, it was a total fantasy of mine. I was gonna go much small scale before I would pitch the Taschen, but this guy already like took the step, and I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. And that's right around COVID, right before COVID
Wow.
hits, right before COVID hits, and I finally assemble my pitch, and everything is lined up, and I've got all the material, and then COVID hits, and everything shuts down. And the thing about Taschen is they have this very interesting approach. They're very exclusive. if they release material, they like to be the first to market. They would like to feature the artist, not like they don't want to feature your material if you've already been in galleries, if you have all this stuff. A new artist, if you're a famous celebrity, it's a little different. But as a new artist, they demand like an exclusive sort of release. And I was very hush hush about this project. I didn't post pictures of it. Nobody really even knew that I was working on it when I was doing it. So I put together this pitch right after COVID. And then when COVID started to hit really hard, I like took a step back. Well, people just stopped going to work. People stopped doing business. And I was like kind of in this weird situation where I was like, what do I do now? What do I do now? And I thought, you know what? Forget it. People are spending time at home. This is the perfect time for a coffee table book, you know? So I went to Toshin and I pitched them to the person whose card I had. And I wrote them a really like good pitch, so much so that the person who I pitched forwarded my pitch to Benedict Toshin, which is the founder of
Wow.
Toshin.
Wow.
And the response I got was the most unbelievable and surprising for me. So you have to understand, Toshin is like they're on the fringe. They'll publish material that other publishers will not
Correct.
risk. They'll not do it. But Toshin has this incredible reputation of publishing the most extraordinary, most risk-taking arts.
Correct.
And they told me when they got back to me, they told me, you know, COVID has completely restructured our business, unfortunately, and we can't take a risk on new artists right now. We're putting all of our resources into publishing material from people with massive followers or people with a big reputation, celebrities, celebrity photos, pictures, the people who have been in the business, established people. And we can't, unfortunately, take any risks. Also, Benedict Toshin prefers that you create more material with more young butts and breasts. This is literally word for word. And also at least 50% in color. And you got to understand, Eric, my project is the total antithesis to young butts and breasts. It's literally the complete opposite. And it totally like broke my heart, man. Like this company that I revere so much, that I have so much respect for, that I possibly had a chance with, is telling me to go more mainstream and like do more attract people. They told me people don't want to see them. I have this in writing. They wrote me, people don't want to see themselves. People want to see celebrities. People want to see extraordinary. People want to be enticed by young youth, things like that, which is literally the opposite of what my project is. And instead of like bending to their suggestions, I just abandoned that process and had the exhibition. That was
Y-
my first opening to show the material
I think you
because
made
I
the
got
right decision. I think you made
denied.
the right decision. I do want to tell you that they they might have responded that way to you, but clearly that's not what they're doing. When you look at the stuff that they're featuring currently and the stuff that they're selling even in the store in the Grove, you'll see it's completely different in
Eric, let
terms.
me tell you something. I wrote a retort email
Yeah.
in which I cited these very examples that you're showing me. I
Correct.
found articles where they boast about risk taking.
Correct.
And you know, I wrote them in a very respectful way. I said, look at who you guys represent. The reason for my project, Jan Sarek, is literally the opposite of young butts and breasts. I literally wrote a, a very detailed analysis of not only the response, but like that what Toshin represents. And you know what they told
Correct.
me? They told me that all of what you're looking at, that's marketing.
Yeah.
And that the people who have taken the biggest risks for Toshin behind the
Yeah.
scenes have actually been punished because those
That,
projects have lost money.
that's
And
crazy.
now they are shifting, especially COVID really kickstarted that process. They're shifting their distribution into making more money and taking less risks.
It's too bad.
And
But I'll tell
it's
you my
true.
thought. But I'll tell you,
in the media, they're represented as these incredible risk takers.
correct,
They
correct.
sold one of their most sold books is the Penis Book, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now is not even you can't even buy it from them anymore.
Correct, correct. But I'll tell you one thing that my perspective on all of these situations. My perspective is that you have always and often been ahead of your time. You have always been in those opportunities where they're about to pop, but they haven't. You've taken the brunt of it and walked through that sort of situation with a head held high and never stop continuing to put in. My thinking is that whatever it is that you're going to ultimately end up doing, it's a lot bigger than anything you've ever tried or anything you ever envisioned. And the whole point at this point, just like with this even YouTube channel, I'm sending out videos into the ether. I have no
Yes.
expectations. I'm just literally doing just for the sake of doing it. Hopefully somebody maybe somewhere will notice. People are already noticing. People are writing to me and saying, can we do a commercial project? Can we do a pitch? Like there's a girl that is making like $500,000 a year doing classes for kids to teach them how to become TV stars or whatever.
Oh,
We
you
literally
yeah,
recorded last week. She wants
influencers,
to
YouTubers.
invest 200, asking for $250,000 investment, recoup in 2 months, possibly, based on her strategy. I mean, this is an
Wow.
incredible business opportunity. And these are people that I would never, and I even told her, listen, I don't know why you're reaching out to me. I'm only doing interviews with people that I actually know. I
Yes.
don't know you. I don't want to take money from you. Okay, let's record it. Let's see what this is all about. But what I'm saying is that I think just simply doing the gallery one more time, maybe doing it a little different, maybe attracting a little more wider audience, somebody will notice and say, let's connect the dots. I'll give you a concept that I'm thinking about. Tomorrow, I have a podcast that I'm recording with one of the biggest real estate agents in the world. Nobody knows her. Her name is Evgenia. She's mostly in Dubai currently, but she does
Mhm.
exclusive properties. But I'm thinking about pitching her an idea saying, hey, I know everybody wants to see a staged home when they come to see a showing of $40 million plus properties. How about we do a gallery together in those properties of people's work and
Oh, okay,
attract
okay.
people to come to the gallery for
Mm,
high-end net worth, not
sure.
Sotheby's where people go to bid, but go to a gallery showing instead of a $40 million home. You sell some art and you sell some properties in parallel. But overall, you attract a particular
Right.
audience that will
Yeah,
spread the word
it's a
about the
great way
event.
to get people in. Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. Yeah.
It's very different. And this is the reason why I'm hoping that maybe something positive will come out of these interviews. You shared an incredible story about our youth. You also shared an incredible story about your journey to where you are today. You don't think like you've made it. I think you have because your art is kind of growing through you. It's just not being noticed by enough people. That's the challenge. I don't think enough eyeballs are seeing
Yes.
what it is you create. And
It's
I hope
true.
that we
Yeah,
can figure out a way
I
to bridge the gap.
I'm notoriously terrible at self-promotion. And that's it's a sort of like a really the Achilles heel in this concoction. And I'm pretty good at promoting others, but when it comes to myself, it's a bit of a challenge for me. And I know that there's many ways that I can improve on this, and I absolutely need to. And you're right. You're right that if I did a better job of approaching more publishers, doing more exhibitions, really just like put more grind into this, it probably would have produced better results. And I haven't given up on it.
Alex,
When they told me,
it's not even about the results. It's about you would get noticed and people
right,
would be able to enjoy what you're producing.
sure, I agree. When I was told to produce more young butts and breasts, I literally went in the opposite direction. I created more material that is more in alignment with this vision, with this project, with the ethos behind Beyond the Skin,
Correct.
than what they asked me to do. And I believe that there is a market for that, and there is. And I need more people to inspire and kind of push me to do more of that. So I
I'm
really
gonna
appreciate you
I'm
saying
gonna
that.
take on that challenge because I was always looking for an opportunity to be able to you and I for to be able to reconnect and for me to maybe make up on the failed dream of Love You and having that be as that project that gets you sort of noticed. Let's see what I can do with some of the galleries that I know here in LA and some of the events that I know that people are putting up, because I think there's an opportunity for collaboration that I would love to see happen with some of my artist friends. But
There is one element specifically of Beyond the Skin that I didn't mention yet, which
tell me,
I'm just going to broadly tell you. A concept that literally does not exist anywhere in the world, and is the reason why Toshin became interested in
tell
this
me.
project. Unfortunately, I probably not a good idea to show, but it's up to you. So, I'm gonna briefly explain this to you and why it exists. So, in the process of shooting nudity, I ran into there's a lot of shame. People carry a lot of shame,
Correct,
or of being nude, especially on camera, especially if you're not like a model. It's a difficult thing to do,
correct.
and you would be surprised, but the most amount of shame I received was from men. Men who were not okay with showing their genitals. They would say, "You know what? I'll pose for you. Just don't show my cock." Okay?
Alex, I'm that guy. I'm the guy
Yeah.
that goes to the nudist beach trying to overcome that fear, believe it or not.
Yes. 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 And it became such a challenge for me. Then I realized that I have to figure out a way to counteract this insecurity, this shame.
Correct.
And together with my best friend, I came up with this concept called the cock crown. And my friend who makes
I never
jewelry,
expected this interview to take that turn, but let's keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. So my friend made jewelry that is
Oh, wow.
specifically made for the cock. And it's not
Incredible.
anything to do with sex again.
Yeah.
And it's you adorn essentially this
So
part that
let's make
you're
sure,
so
because I want
ashamed
to make
of.
sure I want to make sure that before I show whatever you want to show, I want to have context first, just in case I have to cut it out. What
Sure.
I've seen in Miami is people do piercings, which I've never seen
Yeah,
in
this
life
is not at
before.
all. This is
This is not a
not that at
piercing,
all.
right?
Not at
Okay, what
all.
is this?
There's no it is not a sex object. There's no piercing. It's literally like you put on a bracelet or a ring on the hand, the same sort of
Correct.
concept. You put it on the male genitalia. And in the
And how do you
process of
wear it?
doing that, I'm
But how
going to
do you
show
wear it? Do
you.
you wear it? But no, I get it. But do you wear it? If I can't show what you're going to show, I
Sure,
want to
sure,
describe
sure.
it first. So,
Yeah.
how do you wear it? Do you wear it nude or do you wear it with your clothing?
Well, it's optional. Obviously, if you're wearing something under your clothes, it's not visible.
Correct. So the
Uh,
intention is to be nude.
the intention is to, when you are nude, let's say it's with your partner or you're at a Burning Man at a
Yeah,
festival
yeah, yeah.
where nudity is more accepted, you could
Correct.
wear it, but that's not really the intention. It isn't the intention isn't to mass produce this product. That isn't why
Wow.
I created it. The reason I created it was to battle this shame. And as a
Correct.
result, I had men that stood wearing this piece, posing
Yeah.
for me, looked
Show
down at
me.
themselves, and said to me these words. This is the first time in my life that I looked down at my cock and I felt beautiful.
Show me.
Dude, I
now,
will.
now, I'm, now I'm
I,
intrigued.
I will show you.
And I'll figure out a creative way because I have a feeling. Have you set up a website or anything for this or
I
no?
did set up a website, and I
All
do
right,
have
you
this
and I are
on
going
my
to set up a
website.
website. And the way I think I want to do this is I want to describe it in this podcast and then drive traffic to the website to see if they want to see it visually there. Make sense?
Yes, makes sense. So I'm opening it right now. Just give me a
Please.
second. Um, so you got to understand, this. I never expected to be in that situation. Okay, that I'm going to be making jewelry for the. It's like,
Correct.
that
That's wild.
totally. But this is a challenge that I had to. I don't know why it's not loading. Let me try Let me try a different link here. Just a
Sure, sure,
second,
sure.
please. Sorry. So, I this is a really, really powerful element, and everybody who I've showed this to, this specific element, has been really taken aback by it, and found it not only powerful, but like extraordinary, and empowering, and okay. So here it is.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
envisioning
to.
everything you're describing currently, since you're not showing it. I'm envisioning like this museum piece, right?
That's
Something that
exactly.
is that what it is?
Yes, that's exactly it. So let me open it. I have it open. Let me just share the screen.
Okay.
Um, okay, window. Here it
The
is. Okay,
anticipation is
so
killing me.
here we go. All right, so here are these samples.
All right, let me
Uh,
do this. Since some people may not be able to see this, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So the jewelry is basically looks like a ring or bracelet that is hand designed,
Handmade. Yes,
handmade,
specifically for
and
this area.
it is definitely a work of art. It's like a jewelry piece. Some of it is not, but most of it is like a jewelry work of art. Things that you would see like a bracelet on a woman, like on her hand, where it goes
Yes.
up, then it's a bracelet and a ring, like this kind of concussions. I can't describe it, but the one on the left is nuts.
Yeah, so this element, you can't find this anywhere in the world. This is and I've done this is years. I've done this for many I've
Alex, this
worked
is
on this
beautiful.
for a
Give me
while.
the price points of these things.
Well, I don't sell the pieces. I sell the artwork. I mean, of course it's possible to create. I have them. I have these
No,
all
but
belong
let's
to
say I
me.
wanted to buy the elephant one, for instance.
You
Well,
know, I
approximate.
e-
Just approximate, just a price point.
everything you want me to give you a price on the elephant?
Yes.
Let's just say $300.
Okay. So I wanna level set a price just so people
Sure.
understand what we're talking about.
Right. These are all custom made pieces specific. They're very malleable, so they can apply to any size.
Correct.
Notice that none of these penises are hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And
But what's interesting is most women think a hard penis is what makes it beautiful. You
right,
just
and that's the
made a
most
penis.
important part of this is
Yeah,
that
you just
notice
made.
the reason we have shame is because the penis is associated to be a tool. It has to
Correct.
be it has to have a function. It has to be a certain size. It has to please someone. But
Alex,
here,
this has to be so stop sharing. This is
sure,
the most
okay,
important thing that I can communicate to you. So whether you believe it or not, I have a little bit of a business acumen, a little bit,
yeah,
and I can tell you this is a gold mine. If you create a gallery and you have models and you have products that you could sell in the spot, people will want to get a ticket to get to the gallery. People will want to be at that event to see this in real life, possibly try it on, I don't know, but you will definitely get conversions and sales at that event. And this can be a roadshow nationwide, even worldwide. This is an incredible business. Your demand, your demand will outweigh supply tenfolds. And I'll tell you, I know a business that's doing it today in jewelry for rings. I'll send you I'm literally, I bought something
mhm,
from them that doesn't exist in the world. I would probably never wear. It's a pinky ring that I would never wear. I'm not big into pinky rings, but the
yeah,
quality of craftsmanship that they created, their demand is 4 months out. People are ordering and they can't supply. They're out of
wow,
Australia, this company. I'll share you
wow.
just as inspiration, but what I'm communicating to you is this is an incredible business opportunity. I would pursue it regardless of something else that you're doing in parallel.
So this is just another creative project. This is a part of Beyond the Skin, and it's all about that self-love, the empowerment,
This is a
to
money
battle
project.
shame. That's
Yeah,
its function.
I,
And
I,
because
I
of
got it.
it's impossible to advertise. You have to
Yeah, I know.
understand.
But that's why I said the gallery is important. Very important that
Yes,
people see this live. But Alex, all of the good things that you mentioned, they're critically important. They could be used on a website to sell the thing. What I'm telling
sure.
you is that visually, when I see it, I'm
Mhm.
sold. I may not wear it. I would with a particular partner and
Sure.
somebody that would share that love for both jewelry, craftsmanship, and nudity with me. Um, but I think these are statement pieces. This is one of a kind works of art that I would just simply want to support you and own, and I would be willing to spend 300 bucks is nothing. When I looked at the price points, I saw thousands of dollars.
Right. Well, that's a basic piece. There are pieces that would be more
Yeah,
significant, more expensive, but I don't put
yeah.
diamonds and rare stones in there
I
for
wouldn't
sure.
even worry about that. I think stones and gems are where like beautiful, like topaz, whatever they're called. Those things are what are going to sell it even higher end. But I think you already have a very cool concept and a product
Yeah.
that is unlike anything I've ever seen anywhere in the world.
Right. Right. Right.
I've seen
So
crazy shit in sex shops. This is not one of them.
right. This doesn't exist. I'm telling you, man, this does not exist. So
I wanna end this interview on that spot. I know you had a lot of life-changing events like the motorcycle accidents that you've experienced, more than one even, right?
yes, yes.
We didn't touch upon that, but let's do this. I'm gonna reach out to Steve to see if he wants to join maybe another podcast of ours,
Okay.
and I want to bring you back if you don't mind. Maybe we'll tell some of those stories also. How does that
Sure, I'd
sound?
love to. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great, man. Thank you so
And
much.